Watch out, Peter.
That's all right, man. That's all right.
He will save you, he will change you, he will prepare you for heaven. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
So I went to have dinner with the guys after the meet, and apologies for the shaky camera because I'm using my phone again. But my son called me and he popped the hose. So I'm gonna go meet him and see if we can help him out. The guys already went ahead, and I went to stop by at the house to get some tools. So anyway, see if we can fix it. So how many JDM guys does it take to fix a BMW?
Well, -1 here.
Well, -1.
1.5. You know.
Well, he told us what to do. I fixed it.
Okay.
I didn't fix it. I took it apart.
And I held the light, so you know I got.
I'm just gonna get this bad boy off.
It's an important job.
Pop that hose on. We'll be out of here in 5 minutes.
Just gonna pop it on, put some fluid in, and then get you home.
I don't know about some fluid, maybe all of it.
You might need every.
I got that one and distilled water.
I'd say we could always go into Target, but
No, it's closed. You know, they're probably gonna turn off this light too soon.
That's crazy. That's actually
Thumbnail? Thumbnail for the...
Yep.
hey, we got somewhere.
See, this is what my son gets for getting the BMW.
Ah! You should have went with the Honda Bros. Man.
All right, so real quickly, what happened here is that hose kind of popped off. And so he just popped it back on, and this is the second time it happened. Last time, at least it was, you know, at least this time is local. Last time was New Jersey, and you guys saw that in the last video. So I think it's because this is just not clamping right, or he has a bigger issue where he's pressurizing the system, and this is the weak point, and this is where it's popping off. Because the last time it was a hose popped and a radiator bursting, like you guys saw in the last video. Anyway, we're gonna try to get her back on and get her home. So we're driving home. We're gonna get her blood tomorrow.
That's a good one. Get a good one. That is good. Get a good pick for the thumbnail.
So here we are on top of the parking deck over at Hollywood Casino. Over here, I think it's Hershey. I'm not sure. All taking pictures of our cars. The Supra is actually looking pretty clean, but it's actually just because it's silver. It's actually pretty dirty. My son over there taking pics, and we got Devin's Integra, Jake's STI, and John's V-Dub. Okay, you guys are gonna have to forgive me ahead of time. I'm not quite sure where this video is going to land. I am right now disorganized on what my content and my sequence of filming. So I am going to just film it without history in mind, where I can't really refer back to certain things that I've done and or will be doing, because I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself or what. But anyway, I am just gonna go ahead and film and just figure it out later. So forgive me if I'm kind of either going back and forth for those who are following me or who have been looking at my videos in sequence. It might be off a little bit, but anyway. So for this filming, I am going to be troubleshooting the no start issue that I have with the FD. I don't know if you guys caught the last video where we've had to actually push her in to, what is that? Oh, looks like my oil feed line is leaking on the Supra. But anyway, so I don't know if you guys caught the us pushing her back into the garage because she wouldn't start after a heavy rain.
All right, watch the door. How are we looking over there?
Oh, you can close the door. You could.
Oh yeah, you could see the windows open. Yeah. Good? You're good. Plenty of space.
All right, let's center it so that the center of the car is on that label.
Where at? What label?
The label right below the NSF.
Oh, yeah. You watch that side.
You don't want to go left and go below that.
This part of this video is me trying to troubleshoot what the heck's going on. I do have something in mind, and I may not be able to do, actually I have a couple things in mind, and I might not be able to do all of them in this post, but definitely I will be covering everything that I do to troubleshoot why she is not starting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing on this spot, just so that I will have the ability, or have the room I should say, to be able to open the door and not have to worry about, well, I could fully open the door, and I do have room on the other side, but it's really not, it's not really the horizontal issue that I have, is the headroom. I'm probably going to most likely be having lumps on my head if I don't move it out, because I will be hitting my head over that. Okay, that's good enough. So what I suspect on DFD not starting is the clutch switch. So the clutch switch have a tendency to fail over time because it's spring loaded and the spring inside tends to break. And the usual fixes, or the cheap fixes, is to be able to open up the switch and replace it with a Bic ballpoint pen, or any kind of pen with a spring in it. It's pretty much the same tension, so you could swap it and off you go and reinstall it, or just buy a new switch. But I think that's NLA, which is no longer available, so I think that's going to be my recourse, is to disassemble it and try to find a pen with a spring in it that I can replace it with. So that's one, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. Of course, no start issue could be a slew of things, right? It could be battery, it could be alternator, it could be starter. But she did give me a hint prior to the no start issue. So every time it would get wet, it would act up pretty funny. Sometimes the alarm would just go off on its own, and you see the headlights go up and down, which is part of the whole security system. So I'm going to guess that it's the security relay that's at fault. So, but before we even do that, before we even dive into it, by the way, let me backtrack a little bit. So the security relay, you could just basically jump it, disable it, just so that it will no longer think that it's on, so that you can start the car, because it disables the starter. So let's see first, before we do any of that, to see if maybe just the fact that she's been dry for the last 3 to 4 weeks, that she will start on her own. I should be moving her further back because she does stink and she does smoke. She's a rotary, so I don't want this garage to be filled up with fumes, because it's going to take a while before it dissipates, and it's kind of getting dusk soon. I don't feel like leaving the garage doors open. Anyway, let's push this back further. Okay, that should be far enough. So let me. Okay. Okay, so I have a fuel tank that has the passcode prior to me starting it. Just need to put it on the on position. But of course, you know, I will not be showing that here. Sorry guys, I don't have the camera that I normally use, so don't have the stabilization either. I know I keep repeating myself for that, but not many of you actually probably follow the rest of my videos. So if you're just seeing this, I am using my cell phone. So I'm going to put this on the on position. I am going to put my passcode. And start her up. Nope. Okay, so the first thing, and pardon the dirt, I do drive this thing, so she's not a garage queen, so that's why she's dirty. Well, maybe I'm lying. I just haven't really cleaned it. Anyway, so the first thing to do is to remove this, and there's clips here, but I lost mine, so she's only kind of held there by pressure. So I'm going to remove this and that, and then we should be able to see the security relay. Okay, under the good flashlight. There you go. See that blue connector right there? That's the, you need to unplug that. It's the H302. You need to unplug that guy, the blue connector, and then you're gonna jump. Well, I guess let me take that out so that you guys can see what I need to jump. Okay, so now that I got that connector out, you will be jumping. Let's see if I can do this. You're going to be jumping that pin with that pin. Of course, before any electrical work, we need to disconnect the battery. Let me just open this guy up. I've already gotten this loosened, so I'm just gonna take that out, and hopefully that does the trick. So to quickly kind of go over real quickly on how I created this, it's pretty simple. Just get yourself a crimping and a stripping tool. I don't figure what you call that, but anyway, go grab yourself a size 10 connector, and what you're going to do is, well, for me, I picked up a 14 gauge. So this connector accepts a range of 16 to 14. So I got myself the 14 that I needed. What you're going to do is you are going to place the wire at 14, clamp it, and then I really need a tripod and a real camera. But anyway, and then just pull from the wire to strip it. Well, depends on, I mean, you guys can search YouTube to figure out how to strip wires. And then what you're going to do is you're going to insert that stripped portion within that hole. And then you are going to take this crimping tool, put it on 16-14, and then clamp down on this portion right here. That's the dark blue portion, and then that'll crimp the wire onto the connector. You do that for both sides and you're good to go. Okay, so just to kind of quickly show you the location. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I could focus. There you go. That's better. So that should be good enough reference for you guys. Let me try and start it now. Okay, well, this absolutely sucks because I just prevented you guys from having to deal with the shaky camera for me to try to start it again. But I did try to start it and no go. It's the same issue. No click, nothing. Just nothing. So I think maybe the first thing I should have done is check to see if I have a good battery. So let me break out the voltmeter and see if I got enough juice in there to be able to crank this thing. Okay, let me see if I can do this with one hand. And me just scooting over. So you guys put that there. Yep, so she's got enough juice. And well, I didn't really question that because everything fires up, you know, without any hesitation. Or, I mean, everything runs, all the lights run. Okay, so I think the next thing I'm gonna do is pull out the clutch switch, and where that is where's my flashlight? Okay, so I got my flashlight. So the clutch switch, this is gonna be a little awkward because I don't know how I'm gonna film this with having one arm, one hand holding the camera and then the other flashlight while I'm squeezing in. So let's see. So let me see if I can move this guy right here. I'll move that first before maybe it's better if I use the other hand. That white cylinder looks like it's actuating properly. There's a spring behind that, so if that's not actuating properly, that means it's broken. But I'm gonna just open it up anyway, just to see maybe if there's anything on there that's bad.
Holy shit. That's an R33. Oh, 33. Okay. RX7 FD or NSX and holy shit. Now look at the NSX.
Yeah, go ahead. Right. You might. I'm filming. You mind if I get you on film?
No, go.
So I have a random UPS guy just stopping by. He had to pull up his truck and he had to look at the NSX. But he did comment on the other cars, so he's well aware of what they are.
Yeah, I saw the Supra, and then I was taking a snap of it actually, and then I look in, and I'm like, there's a Skyline, there's an RX7.
Oh, yeah, well, you're welcome to take snaps from.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
You know, you're like I think this week. I had a lawn guy stop by and a FedEx guy, so I think that completes the trifecta for this week.
It looks like you have some stuff on the RX7.
Yeah, some stuff. It's a single turbo with a custom V mount. Watch the oil. My Supra is leaking with the oil line, so big turbo, and yeah, and she's ported. So unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. I don't have the extra time to continue with the troubleshooting. The next step is the clutch switch, and hopefully that's going to fix it. I'm going to pull it out and open it up and see if it is the spring. But I you know, when it did check, it was actuating, and I'll explain a little bit more when you guys watch the next vid. I will detail that as much as I can. And so guys, I'll see you on the next video. Like always, be kind, stay humble, and catch you later. Oh, and do me a favor, comment down below if you guys have any recommendations or any experience, if you guys have been through this before. I'm not an electrical guy. Throw anything mechanical on me, I'll try and figure it out. And I did do the wiring though, I should say, for the FT500, the Fuel Tech. That was an experience, and I don't want to ever do that again. So that's the UPS guy. that was interesting. So it's the following day. I'm done with work. I am going to continue the troubleshooting for the FD to try and get it available for this coming Sunday's meet. So let's get the Supra out. Let's get her pushed back into this area, and hopefully today we can solve it. Okay, so what we're going to be doing next is I'm going to be jacking her up, and I am going to check if whether or not the starter is getting power. Okay, so the starter's getting full power. I'm not quite sure where to go from here. Oh, actually the clutch switch, we need to check that, make sure that it's actuating. Let me just first situate myself and make sure that I can get underneath there properly, because it is an awkward area for me to be able to kind of sit there and film on one hand and try to navigate on the other. Okay, I put the flashlight up against that rest pedal just so that I can get hand free. But if you see that little area right there, or that, so this is the this right here is the clutch pedal. And if you follow that that piece right there is the right at the center. Let me see if I can put my finger. So that guy right there. So if I press on the clutch, you should see a white cylinder, and that's basically, it's actuating properly. If the spring on that is bad, it wouldn't properly actuate like that. So I'm going to discount the clutch switch as the issue. But if it continues to not start on after looking at other things, I'm going to pull this apart, and I'm going to take it off and pull it apart and see whether or not it is indeed okay. But from the way it looks here, it seems to be okay. So okay, so now that we determined that the battery is okay, the clutch switch is operating properly, the starter is getting power. The next thing for me to check is the ignition switch. So that's going to be behind, if I remember correctly, it's inside this shell. So let's take that apart. So to remove this shell, it's really just three bolts, three screws I should say, and it's a Phillips head. So there's one out here closer to the instrument panel, and then there's two closer to the steering wheel. Okay, so I got the shell out. Just remember that when you do remove it, just to be careful, because it is fragile. 25 plus years old, it's gonna break, and you need to twist this off, twist this bulb off that is encased, or actually twisted on to the lower half of that shell. And there's also a ring that covers this. So might want to just make sure that you have that before pulling. So that right there is the clutch switch right here. So it's not loose. The contact seems to be clean. So I'm not quite sure where to go from here, other than pulling it out and replacing it. I need to kind of go back to the shop manual and see how to test this electrically. So at this point it's starting to get dusk and I'm getting bit like mad. Still looks like it's daylight out, but it's kind of hard to kind of discern from the video because it's adjusting the lighting. But anyway, it is getting dark, so I am going to call it a day. Get everything pushed back underneath the NSX and get the Supra back in here and just get back to the drawing board. So I tried to jump the RX7 as well, just to kind of eliminate the whole battery thing, because even though she does show 12.8 and she doesn't go down when I try to crank her. I try to just make sure that the cold cranking amp is there, and I just connected it to a running EcoBoost, and she stayed at 13.7 even during cranking and won't turn over. So I just wanted to eliminate the battery at this point before I go even further and spend more money, i.e. new starter, new ignition switch, etc., etc. So it's starting to look like I'm not going to be able to make Mike's event with this car, so I'm probably going to most likely end up taking the Supra, but don't fret yet. Maybe, just maybe, I might be able to figure things out beforehand. So I just realized something that I didn't mention on my last film. I just want to make sure I note that, and I'll just go back to the car just to make sure. Wait a minute, do I have my keys? I'm gonna need the keys. So get underneath here. Where are the keys? Make sure I don't hit the wall. Okay, so the idea is that if, let me get in there. The idea is that if I switch, and this is all relating to why I think it's not the ignition switch. So if I switch it to on, and if the turn signals work, which they do, and if the wipers work, well, wiper, because I'm only using one at this point. So then we know that the ignition switch isn't the culprit, because it's getting power. Because the ignition switch, when it's turned on, it feeds the other buses that's in the interior fuse box that are not on the battery bus. So I can discount that as being the issue, and I am going to put the shell back on. So I just wanted to kind of specify that, just in case people are wondering why I didn't remove the ignition switch and replace it. So just wanted to add that. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll have some time to try and troubleshoot it and continue this adventure. Okay, so let's quickly go over what I've done, just so that kind of get an understanding. Oh, what is that? That's what's been biting me this whole entire time. You know, at dusk when the mosquitoes come out, but particularly when it's like this humid. I mean, they're having a feeding frenzy on my calf. But anyway, so what I've done so far is check the battery. Battery is fine. I even had it connected to the EcoBoost just so that the cranking amps was ruled out. Still won't turn over. I checked the starter solenoid. It's getting power. I cleaned some of the grounds, which I didn't feel like kind of showing here. Just something to note, and something you guys should. One of the things that you guys should be doing when checking for electrical gremlins. So I've also the small connector to the solenoid that has a little spade to it. I cleaned that off as well. What else? I checked the ignition switch. So it's powering everything that it needs to power within the same bus as the switch is in. So the turn signals and the wipers are running. The clutch switch, it's actuating properly, so that tells me that it's not an issue with the spring, the internal spring. So essentially, what happens here is you have the battery. Well, in my case, it's on the passenger side. So the way it works, or the path is, it goes to the ignition switch. The ignition switch goes to the clutch switch, and then it goes to the starter. Oh, wait a second. You know what? You know, this is what I think it is. I'm a dummy. Oh, and I forgot to add that I also bypassed the security relay. But anyway, so there are two switches that affects the clutch activation for the car to start. There's one, if I remember correctly, yes, and that's what I'm missing. I haven't really looked at. I'm hoping I'm going to discover this with you guys, and that I am going to definitely prove to myself that I am an idiot, or it's just that my age is kind of showing and my memory is really bad. And forgive me for the dirt. I have been driving her around prior, and I haven't even cleaned her since. But anyway, so one of the things that I was going to say is that there are two switches. One up top, it's a white box if I remember correctly, and the other one is the one that's directly connected to the one that I just showed you, the one just right above the clutch pedal. So that the white one goes to the ECU. And it works in conjunction with the switch that I just mentioned, which was, you know, right by the right above the clutch. And there's a stopper that has a tendency long term will crack and degrade. And you know what? I am starting to, I get a sense that this is actually it. That is my issue. So this looks like definitely the stopper that has broken. So let me situate myself. My hands are shaking now because I've been holding this phone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to position this phone so that I can get a better shot of that location, and we can all discover it together. And from the looks of it, I am going to say that I'm close to figuring this out. Okay guys, sorry, hopefully this is focusing properly, but probably isn't. But I don't know if you guys can see that white cylinder, that skinny. Let's see if I can get a closer look. There it goes. See that right there? And you see the, I'm gonna see if I can get better lighting. You see that bracket with the hole in it? Well, there's supposed to be a stopper there, and I'm kind of glad that I did a summary. Let me see if I can show that better. That works. See that bracket? There's supposed to be a, there it goes. There's supposed to be a, let me move this wire too. Better see it right there. It's supposed to be a stopper there. And what that does is that allows it to actuate against that stopper. And so that's my problem. Now, let me get away from here because it's really hurting my back. Okay, so kind of hurt my ribs, but because it is an awkward position, if you guys can kind of understand, I had to finagle my entire body underneath there somehow and be able to hold the phone, try to get it focused, and this flashlight. But anyway, so I really need to get my camera back. So it definitely looks like that's what it is. So I am going to go ahead and see if I can maybe get nylon screws and nut. Some folks use just a regular nut and bolt, but I think it's a better scenario would be for me to put something a little bit more softer. Maybe get like actually, you know what's a better idea? Find myself one of those caps, plastic caps that you would use on filling holes, if that makes any sense. Maybe I can where would it be? So I guess well, this is just for my next project, and for those of you early guys, you know what this means. Anyway, that's coming down the road. Maybe something like this. You know what I mean? If it's, hopefully maybe I can get something thick enough that it'll stay. Or get like, this is what I was talking about, is a nylon, but this is too small. So let me go make a quick pit stop or a quick trip to the hardware store. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm back, and this is kind of what I picked up. Something with a little bit more of a girth that I think will fit on that hole. What I actually should have done is I should have measured it before I left, but I eyed it. It should fit well. So that's one option. The other option is this nylon nut and bolt. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a shot first and see whether or not that's, because it has a flat surface as opposed to having that line, which may wear that piston, that plastic piston for the switch. So we'll give that a shot and see which one fits better. Okay, let's give it a shot, but before we do so, let me move this guy. Okay, e-brake down. Let me move this further out so that the fumes go outside the garage. Okay. Hopefully that's tall enough. Where is today? Where are the keys? Jeez, I walk inside the car and I don't even have the keys with me. I go grab them. Okay, the moment of truth. Find the key. throw that on. Put on my passcode. Here we go. Yes, I am so glad. It's always something simple, and I don't know why I forgot about that, but I'm glad I did remember. So anyway, time to put everything back together, and she'd be going to the meet on Sunday. So I found a piece, at least one of them, that came off, and the head is pretty thick. So if you guys can kind of compare it to the push pin that I put in, it's pretty thin. The head is. So, but apparently it's enough to be able to actuate that push rod. But what I might do is, if you notice, just go with this nylon, because it's pretty much closer to the diameter. Now we know the fans are running. Fans work, that is. Okay, so let me shut it down. Okay, so we got her going, and I honestly can't believe why I completely forgot about that. It's been a while, and I guess that's what you get for trying to retain information on varying different cars, and it starts to get confusing or gobbled after a while. So that's something I should have realized from the very beginning. But so at this point, she's good to go. What I'm probably going to do is take out that security bypass, because I do like the fact that it's really not a great secure system, but I don't really want to modify it unless I have to. So, oh, pardon me, it's like really stinks in here. I can't really breathe, but kind of engulfed the garage with rotary smoke. But I'll tell you what though, I'm not getting bit anymore by mosquitoes. Okay, so she's just all needs to be detailed for Sunday's event, and just kind of make sure that she's ready for the trip. Make sure the oil's good, coolant's good. I don't know if I'll have the time to actually detail her actually. She's just gonna go as is. That's okay. She's not gonna win any awards. She's still under construction from when I picked her up from the previous owner. I'll give you a little bit of history on that some other time, but essentially just a quick, I got this FD back from having owned it back in the 90s. I went through 3 ownerships post me selling it after the divorce. So got her back, but I didn't get her back in the same condition that I had it. So right now I'm actually going through it to make sure that she's how I like it. So anyway guys, so there's not much more to this video other than hopefully you guys found this informative, and for those of you that are having this issue, hopefully that kind of helped you out a little bit. If you have any questions as to to how to go about the problems that you have, comment down below, maybe some experiences that you've had too, and just talk about how you were able to kind of troubleshoot your starting issue. So anyway guys, that's a wrap, and like I said, hopefully you guys can make use of this this post, and like always, be kind, stay humble, and see you guys in the next video.